and hook Arnold up. Arnold is the CEO of Zambezi Tanners and has been instrumental in really spearheading this work forward. And I got to speak to him at Dubai at APLF just a couple of weeks ago as well. And the work he's doing and his enthusiasm for sustainability within the region is really great. And I know he's joined us remotely, so hopefully we can.
Is he on video?
Not on video yet. Oh, I haven't got audio from me.
Hi.
There we go. Shows you.
Over to you, Arnold.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you well.
It's on video.
Thanks for having us at the conference. We appreciate it. It's been a while since I was up there. I think I got my membership when I was up in the UK. Greetings to you, Peter. Been a long time since I've seen you. So just dive straight into it. We've had quite a good run at it, putting in sustainability. And actually, when you look in Africa in the context, we don't have a lot of infrastructure, a lot of challenges that we face as a country, especially when you go down to Zimbabwe with our financial challenges and a lot we face in our economy. But we've realized that sustainability is a responsibility for us, regardless of where we are and the situations we go through. It's very important for us to play our part in the industry as well and try to strive to become more sustainable as an organization. It affects a lot of us where we are, regardless of where I am in Zimbabwe. What I do has an effect on the rest of the industry globally. So it's important that we work together at doing things much better. And through SLF, it's really given us a doorway to put our foot in the door and start that journey towards sustainability in a way that accommodates us in our particular situations that we face. And we're able to be recognized for the efforts that we put in, whereas other programs don't actually give you the ability for people to see what you're putting in and how much effort you're trying to achieve. So it's really been a great journey. I'm really grateful to Deborah and the team for supporting us through this. And it's very exciting. You see our beautiful compliance lady there who runs the program for us, does an amazing job for us, and it's really great to have her on board. But once again, thank you guys for having us. I really appreciate it and giving us the opportunity to share what's going on in Zimbabwe. I don't know if there's any questions for us. I'm open to answer any.
Yes, we've got a question from Tom.
How do you decide whether to make the principal flay cut along the spine or along the belly of a crocodile?
So I say again?
You've got to flay. You've got to cut, make a flay cut to skin
Yes.
a crocodile. If you skin along the spine, that's very hard, but you get a nice leather from the belly, or you can flay through the belly and get the crocodile as the one you showed at the beginning. How do you make that decision where to make the flay cut?
Okay, that's dependent on what our market is looking for. So generally, the market is into bellies. That's the prime in crocodile. So always your flay cut will be on the back, so you get a full belly. Horn back is what we get when you make the flay cut down the belly, so you get the horn back, which is not so popular anymore internationally. So mainly the cut is on the back, where you end up with a strap, which they use for belts, and then you get your full belly that you use for your finished products. I don't know if that answers your question.
And also, tell me about the meat of the crocodile. How do you sell that? How do you market the meat? Does that go locally or further afield?
At the moment, we do a bit of exports into Europe as well. It's sold locally at Victoria Falls, our tourism site. They've got a lot of tourism, so the hotels use a lot of the croc meat. But some of it goes into Europe. I know Italy imports quite a bit from the Zimbabwean market, and a bit goes into Asia as well.
Thank you.
I was just wondering, years ago, over 30 years ago, I put in quality control systems, which stand to 5750, and it was ISO 9000 series. that requires external examination. It shows the world that you actually have a quality system that you adhere to. How do you show the world that it has external examiners? Do you have any external examiners who can verify what you're doing in terms of sustainability?
Yep. So in Zimbabwe, we have a quality assurance agency. It's certified internationally for that certification. So we're working alongside them to do the program. So we're going through the preparation phase, and then they'll all come through and do the audits on behalf of the international market to certify our processes in order. So we do have locally an agency that is certified to carry out that assessment.
It's an interesting point as well. I mean, we'll go and conduct formal audits in July, hopefully, but long term, the intention is to have local resource that can follow through and keep these improvement measures in place and to monitor them, that they are being fulfilled.
Yeah, external examination are so important because it really keeps you on your toes.
Exactly, that third party verification is key, but also not just once every 2 years. You need people that can go and do interim inspections, but not just inspections, but actually additional training, or if something new comes up, making sure that that best practice is disseminated. So it's really important that long term we look to have resource and infrastructure in those regions that can support that process.
Hi, Thomas Crack, Steads. Looking at what you've presented, zero rework in 2022. How do you think you've managed that? What in the system has given you that sort of good figure?
Yeah, I think the adoption of the system, I know we never formally wrote down the system, and I'll be honest, we didn't pretty much do a lot of training and education on making sure our team are following through the process. So going through this process, we had to document and we had to carry out training to get the team on board. And I think it's just created that extra awareness amongst our workforce, the importance of certain steps and the certain things that we do. So we've actually got some good results from it thus far. Obviously, it's impossible never to have reworks, but we're on a good spell at the moment. I think the team is quite excited about the whole system, and everyone is trying to do their best to make sure it works. So I think the documentation phase was very effective for us in getting our workforce back geared into looking at things more controlled and being less lax about different issues.
Hi Arnold. Welcome and lovely to see you here joining us. First of all, can we just give congratulations to Lyndall because she's getting married today, which is why she's not on camera with Arnold. So we and the other thing to ask is, you're talking about the changes. I mean, these are big cultural changes within an organisation, and some people really relish that challenge. But for a lot of employees, it must be very scary when you're suddenly wanting to change how you do things. How have you found the process from your point of view as the employer, but also from your employees' point of view? Has it been a big challenging process so far?
I'll say most definitely. It's been very challenging for us. Obviously, when you start putting in systems and creating policies, there's a bit of wariness from the workforce as to what your ultimate goal is. And there's a lot of fear that maybe you're trying to displace people from the workplace, or you're trying to set up traps in order to, issue out written warnings and the like. So it's been a real struggle for us to get that educational phase going through, trying to get the guys on board. So it's been a real struggle. I think we'll still continue to struggle, but as we progress, I think the guys become more warmed up to the program. The management side as well, it's a different way of doing things from our traditional way of operating. So it's a more controlled environment with a much more dedicated pipeline in the way we do things. So from a senior management point of view, there's a lot of adjustments that have to be made as well from the style of managing and the style of running the operations. So it's been a big shift change. I'd say the last 4 months, I think the Tannery has been turned upside down completely over its head, and everyone is trying to adjust, including ourselves, to the many changes that are taking place because of the system.
Thank you.
Yeah, Arnold, deep congratulations on what you've achieved, and I've spent
Thank you.
time in Zimbabwe in the past, so I understand some of the prejudices and difficulties that you've had to overcome. And so really, I just sort of make a general comment. I've had a bit of a problem recently explaining sustainability. It was in India, and we realized they were asking us for recipes to make sustainable leather, and we were a little bit puzzled by this, and then ignorance isn't the word I use lightly, but we really found there was a problem. And so I actually did prepare quite a presentation over sustainability. It was not relating to leather at all, and for water that's required to make a bottle of water, for example, and things like this, just to educate, really, the background education. And they still didn't get it, actually, because they didn't still just ask for a leather recipe to make sustainable leather. So we challenged them. We said, well, what is the word in your language, in your various languages in India, for sustainability? That's them. They actually had a conflict in their own minds. They know what sustainability is in their language, but it didn't meet what their understanding of sustainability is in the English language, as we're all discussing now. It didn't match. I just wondered if you came across that issue as well.
Yeah, most definitely. I think when we talk about sustainability in the beginning, it was always the thought of how it impacts the environment and how do you make your processes more cleaner and how do you adjust all the things you do in the factory, treat your effluent. Yes, that forms part of it. But no one really understood the much broader term that it covers a lot of stuff outside of your normal tanning processes. So it's really been a challenge of trying to adjust people's mindset that it cuts across so many different tiers. And like in the presentation, you see there's some of the challenges we face in country is trying to explain to people the reason why you want to do something. For example, traceability. The question will be, why do you want to know where the cow came from? I just gave you the hide. What's the problem? You don't need to know where it came from. You went to the abattoir. You get that different conflict, and you try to educate and try to train. And yeah, it's been a challenge adapting to it, especially when you're the only company within the country that's actually doing the sustainability program. So you're sort of like a lone fish out there, and you have to educate everyone, including your suppliers and everyone around you in your environment. So it's been quite a challenge to explain sustainability. And like you're saying, we had to start first by ourselves to say, what do we understand sustainability to be? And just like the Indians, there was that conflict that came about, and we had to educate ourselves to broaden, to understand fully what sustainability is about. So it's an ongoing challenge, and I don't think it will ever end. I think it will take quite some time before we get the entire industry to encompass, but we're hopeful that when Deborah visits, hopefully end of July, that maybe we can have a training workshop with the industry and we can help everyone come to the right idea of what sustainability is.
I think just to wrap up on that, Arnold, are you seeing any value to the process though that is helping you to become more efficient within what you're doing because you're more aware? Because I think that quite often when you're trying to talk to people about the need for sustainability, all they see is that this is additional burden and they don't necessarily equate it to long-term value propositions of the benefits that they will receive. You have to put in the work to begin with, but then it will. Have you seen any of that in the work that you've done so far in terms of value?
Yes, most definitely. There's been a lot of value in it. I think it's changed the mindset and the way we approach our production, the way we approach our suppliers. It's really added value to our business and the way we do things as a company. Previously, give an example, HR policy, we didn't have something of great depth, but as we developed the process of the HR policy, we expanded it more to encompass a lot more. And it's really benefited both the worker and the employee because there are a lot of things that we left out. So from an employee side, there were a lot of things that we added in that protected the worker and gave them a better environment. So we found that as we go through the process and we make the changes, we're actually improving the factory as one, improving the atmosphere within the workplace, improving the way our workers interact, improving the way management interacts. So there's a lot of good things that is coming out of it. And as we go day by day, getting closer to the final goal, it's more or less we've forgotten about we want to get certified. It's now about how much more can this whole process change the way we do business and the way we operate as a business as well. So yeah, I think it's been amazing for us as a company. There's been great value from it, and we continue to get more value as we continue.
Fantastic. Thank you, Arnold, very much. John.
Yes, thank you very much, Arnold. And we have here certificates for yourself and Linda, as thanks for the presentation. We'll have these sent out to you so you can display those. Thank you very much for participating, and congratulations on all the work that you're doing. I'll give these to Deborah, who will pass them to Pat to send out to you.
Yeah, perfect.
Oh.